Let's make my ultimate dairy-free carrot cake and cream cheese icing. Welcome back, bakers. Today we're going to make my ultimate dairy-free carrot cake, and also stick around because I'll be showing you how to make some dairy-free cream cheese icing as well. Now, if you are new here, I'm Angela from Bake Angel. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can keep up to date with my channel, and also check out all the other allergy-friendly recipes that I have here. Now we're starting with mixing all of our dry ingredients first. That's 225 grams of self-raising flour, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1.5 teaspoons of ground cinnamon, half a teaspoon of nutmeg. We have 225 grams of brown sugar, and I just added the zest of 1 orange as well. Now you're going to go ahead and give these a bit of a mix together with your hand mixer. You could also do this by hand with a wooden spoon, or even with a stand mixer if you prefer. It's entirely up to you. Now to that, we are going to start to add our wet ingredients, which is 3 eggs. Next, we're going to add our carrots. Now I've used 2 large carrots for this, which gave me about 250 grams of grated carrot. So it's up to you whether you want to put more or less, depending on how many carrots you have. And then our final ingredient is 150 grams of melted plant-based butter. Now the reason that I've melted it is that it's actually easier to get everything to combine together really quickly for this. Once all your ingredients are in your mixing bowl, give them a final stir together again with your hand mixer. Now you'll see that this mix is actually quite thick. It's got a really nice brown color to it already from the brown sugar and also the carrots as well, and it smells divine. And don't worry if you see a couple of lumps of brown sugar in there. All of that will disappear when the cake actually bakes, as it is going to bake for quite a while in the oven, and all of that sugar will dissolve over that process as well. Now we're ready to get our baking pan ready. So I am using a deep 8-inch cake pan here. Mine has a loose bottom, but it doesn't matter if yours doesn't. Just make sure that you grease the sides of that pan really thoroughly, and the base as well, and then add a parchment circle to it so that it will be easier for you to remove this cake once it is baked. Then we're going to go ahead and add all of our batter to our tin, and you're just going to give it a tap on the counter a few times just to flatten it out before we pop it in the oven. Now this baked at 330 degrees Fahrenheit for roughly 60 minutes. You might need to adjust that based on your own oven, but make sure that when your cake is done, you check it with a cake tester or a toothpick so you can make sure it is baked fully in the middle. Now let's go on with our cream cheese icing. Now I'm a fan of using plant-based cream cheese. Obviously I want to keep this dairy-free, and this part of my recipe is actually vegan too. So I've just added 227 grams of plant-based coconut cream cheese, then 400 grams of icing sugar, about a teaspoon of vanilla bean paste, and also 50 grams of my unsalted plant-based butter. Now once all of that is in your mixing bowl, you're just going to combine it with your hand whisk or a stand mixer again if you choose to do it with a stand mixer, and just keep beating it until you end up with a really nice smooth frosting. Now there's a few different things you can do with this frosting, and because I know I'm going to be icing a cake with it, I didn't let it go as thick as it would if I was going to pipe it on something like cupcakes. So you will notice I've added another amount of icing sugar here. That's just because I didn't want to add all of the 400 grams in one go, because that has a tendency to kind of puff up everywhere and just make a huge mess on the counter. So I just split that into 2 halves, and then as you can see, I'm continuing to mix that with my mixer. Once you have it at a nice smooth consistency, that is ready to go. You could add different flavorings to it. You could color it as well if you wanted to. But to keep this traditional, we are just going to keep it the natural color for the topping for our carrot cake. And you can see the consistency here. It is fairly runny, but this is the perfect consistency that we want for a cake. Again, if I was going to use this on cupcakes, I would go slightly thicker with it and just up that icing sugar a little. Now that our cake is completely cool, we're going to go ahead and ice it. You can see here I'm using an offset spatula for that. That's the easiest kind of spatula to use because it's got that little crank in it, which means you can spread it really easily and you're not going to get any of the crumbs on the cake in that icing. So just keep going until you've got enough icing on there. You could even do the sides with this as well if you wanted to. And as you can see, I'm just kind of going around in a back and forth motion, spreading all of that icing on top of the cake. And I think for this one, I'm not going to go down the sides actually. I just want a really nice layer of that buttercream on top of it. And then we are actually going to go and put some of the extra orange zest on top as well, just for that extra pop of color and a little bit more flavor to our icing. And then, as I said, we're just going to go back on top of it and add some more of that extra orange zest. I think this is really nice. You could obviously put things like shredded coconut on top. You could even put nuts on top as well. Really anything that you like with your carrot cake. Perfect, so that's been sat now. The icing has started to crust over a little bit and it will actually firm up really nicely if you want to store this in the fridge. I do recommend keeping it in the fridge because it is a cream cheese. That will actually help retain the moisture of the cake and obviously keep the icing fresher as well. Let's cut a slice of it so you can see what it looks like inside, and look at that color. It's absolutely gorgeous, isn't it? That really nice deep golden color. You can see the carrot dotted throughout it as well. And again, it smells amazing. So now I'm just gonna cut a little bit of it up and try it and see what it's like. It's got a beautiful crumb to it as well. And I know my husband's gonna really enjoy this. It is one of his favorite cakes. So hopefully he likes this one. Let's have a look at this. Beautiful. It tastes so good as well. I'm so happy with this cake and I really hope that you're going to try it. Of course, let me know in the comments below if you're a fan of carrot cake and if you're going to try making this frosting as well. The frosting itself is so good. I could literally use this on donuts and definitely on cupcakes too. As always, don't forget you can always find the full printable recipe on my website at bakeangel.com. The link to this recipe will be in the description underneath. Make sure you check out this playlist for my other bake along videos and also this one for some red velvet donuts, which are just amazing. Thanks so much for watching and I look forward to seeing you soon.